Good morning, everyone. I'd like to declare this meeting open of the Hearings Committee and would like to start with an opening karakia.
Kia tauranga ngā tana ata meo naro, ki runga ki tēnā ki tēnā o tātou. Kia mahia te ua mā kihikihi, kia toi te kupu, toi te mana, toi te aroha, toi te reo Māori, kia tūtutu, kia whakamaua, kia tīna, uie, toi.
I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Hearings Committee to hear submissions on the Dog Control Bylaw and Dog Policy. My name is Craig Bowyer and I am the Chair of the Hearings Committee. I'd just like the committee members to introduce themselves, starting from my left.
Kia ora, my name is Jo Hayes and I'm the iwi representative for Rangipa.
Morning, Tom Helena, elected member.
Gary Caffel, Mayor.
Kia ora, I'm Karen Yates, I'm not an elected representative, I'm the General Manager of Strategy and Development.
Good morning, David Holmes, elected member.
Kia ora, Robert Pōtangaroa, Ngāti Kahunganga Iwi Rep.
Thank you very much. This is how the morning will run. First, the committee will hear from each of the submitters, then we will move the recommendations in the report, and then the hearings will close. The committee will meet again on the 30th of April to deliberate and will make recommendations on both the proposed Dog Control Bylaw and Dog Policy and the proposed Dangerous, Affected and Unsanitary Buildings Policy for Council to consider at its meeting on the 14th of May. Please let me know anyone if you intend to leave the meeting early, and just a reminder, this is being live streamed. Conflict of interest declaration, so any members with a conflict of interest, please declare them. None. Any apologies? I see we're all present and accounted for, so thank you. I move the motion. No, we don't need to do that, do we? No. Okay. The reports for decision. It is item 3.1, 2025 Control of Dogs Bylaw, Dog Policy, Dangerous, Affected and Unsanitary Buildings Policy Hearings Report. We have the one item on the agenda, the above report which I have mentioned, and the submissions of those who indicated they wish to be heard. I'll hand over to the Policy Manager, Steph, and Policy Advisor, Sophie. No, we've got
It's Nathan today.
Nathan.
Thank you. We're Nathan Hyde, our
To present
policy
the
advisor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Just real quick, I'll introduce the report and do a high-level summary. In terms of the submissions overview, we received 15 submissions on the Dangerous, Affected and Unsanitary Buildings Policy and 135 submissions on the Control of Dogs Bylaw and the Dog Policy. There were originally 5 submitters to be heard today, one of whom was pulled out. So now we have 4 submitters, and we've also had a change for whom is speaking on behalf of the RNZSPCA. We did the consultation from the 21st of February to the 21st of March. It was advertised widely. There was a wide-reaching promotional effort. There were direct emails, antenna, local print, radio, posters. Dog owners were contacted directly. We encouraged the oral submissions, of course, which is why we're here today. Section 82 of the Local Government Act encourages allowing people to present views in their preferred format, including orally. A formal hearing enables that, and today's process reflects this principle. Submitters have been allocated 10 minutes each, 7 to speak, 3 for questions. There is nobody today being heard on behalf of the Dangerous, Affected and Unsanitary Buildings, and there are, like I mentioned, those 4 people being heard on the Dog Policy and Bylaw. The key topics being consulted on can be found on page 8 and 9 of the report, and as mentioned, those next steps is that 30th of April deliberations and 14th adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for that. Are there any questions on Before I start, I'd just like to remind elected members that you need to approach the hearings with an open mind and take into account all written and oral submissions. That you are here to listen and not engage in debate with submitters or offer solutions, but can ask questions to clarify. We will now call upon our first submitter, Dr. Alison Vaughan of the RNZ SPCA. Alison, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Just get the appropriate page. Yeah. Alison, is there a chance you can put your camera on?
Yes. There we are.
Welcome, Dr. Alison.
Thank you so much. So I'm Dr. Alison Vaughan. I'm a scientific officer with SPCA, and on behalf of SPCA, I would like to thank Council for this opportunity to participate both in the early engagement process and the current consultation. So as you'll know, SPCA and Council have a shared interest in promoting and encouraging responsible dog ownership, as from an animal welfare perspective. Oh, sorry?
I'll just go through a bit of a pre-formality.
Oh, my apologies.
All councillors will have their submissions from you in front of them and will have read them. You have 10 minutes to speak, and this includes a time for questions, 7 minutes to present your submission, and then 3 minutes for questions from elected members. A bill will be rung at 6 minutes. So it's being live streamed and recorded, so we're in your hands.
Thank you. Apologies for that. So as I said, I'm Alison, and SPCA and Council have a shared interest in promoting and encouraging responsible dog ownership. So us from an animal welfare perspective, and Council from a management and control perspective. And on that note, we would like to take this opportunity to commend Masterton District Council on your proposed common sense updates to the dog control policy and bylaw. And we're very pleased to see a number of our suggestions from early engagement were adopted. In particular, I'd just like to appreciate the steps taken to balance removal or restriction of dog access in some areas with creation of alternative off-leash areas. So we know that this helps dog owners meet their obligations to meet the physical health and behavioural needs of their dogs under the Animal Welfare Act. And we do support clarification of dog access rules. So we have found, and I'm sure Council have also found, that most dog owners are responsible and want to do the right thing. So compliance is really assisted if rules are easy to understand, reasonable and clearly signposted. We're also very supportive of the proposed requirement to neuter dogs that are repeatedly found roaming. So desexing of roaming dogs is an important part of population control. It has welfare benefits for the desexed animal, and there is also some evidence that desexing may reduce roaming. So from this perspective, desexing of roaming dogs can keep our communities safer as it reduces risks of dogs becoming involved in road collisions, causing nuisance. And we do have resources on our website that you'd be welcome to use in promoting desexing. We are also pleased to see the proposal to prohibit using motor vehicle sexualized dogs. As above, dogs and roads are not a good mix, and so we're appreciative of steps taken to clarify that, and also that it doesn't provide sufficient control. Obviously, the exception to this is working dogs. We were also very pleased to see this review pathway for dogs classified as menacing by behaviour. So this is an approach we've seen in several other councils and have seen them adopt this quite successfully. This really takes an approach of not just labelling people as as owners of a menacing dog, but actually pushes them to change their behaviour and puts them on the pathway to becoming a responsible dog owner. We're also really supportive of keeping pets and people together. So from that point of view, we were happy to see that the proposal to see discretion for council to waive surrender fees. Where keeping pets and people is in their best interest, this should always be done, but where people are really stuck in a difficult situation, we know it is their last resort, and we would rather animals go into a safe environment. Also happy to see the clarification of responsible dog ownership status and exemptions for neutering for registered breeders or based on veterinary advice. there are some dogs which, for reasons to do with that individual dog, may need to defer desexing for a little bit. And so adding this clarification removes unnecessary barriers to becoming a responsible dog owner. So finally, I really appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with the Council, and we work with councils up and down the country, and we're always happy for Council to reach out if we can be of any assistance in terms of advice. And with that, I will hand over for questions.
Thank you, Alison. Are there any questions from the committee for Alison? None forthcoming, Alison. So thank you very much for your presentation. The committee will meet again on the 30th of April to deliberate and will make recommendations on both the proposed dog control bylaw and dog policy and the proposed dangerous, affected and unsanitary buildings policy for Council to consider on the 14th of May. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will now call on our next submitter, Roger Drower, who is attending on Teams. Welcome, Roger.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Just as an introduction, councillors have read your written submission and will have a copy of them in front of them. You are to speak in support of your submission. It is an opportunity to expand on your submission and focus on key points. You have 10 minutes. This includes time for questions. 7 minutes to present your submission, then 3 minutes for questions from elected members. A bill will be rung at 6 minutes. Just a reminder, the meeting is being live streamed and recorded. We're up to you.
Hi, good morning to you. My name is Roger Drower. I'm the chairman for the Disability Assist Dogs Advocate and also the spokesperson for Civil Defence Dog New Zealand for in a case of an emergency. Under the Dog Control Act, 1996, and that sort of stuff, yeah, it gives you the 8 organisations with disabilities of the Disability Assist Dogs. In the Section A and 75, that gives us the full legal right. So hope the councillors and staff understands the Control Act of this here before they make a decision, because there's nowhere it says here about domestic pet dogs are allowed to go in under this status in New Zealand law. When it was first drawn up, it was there to protect the guide dogs in the early 50s. So now we have the first civil defence tag for all service dogs within New Zealand, and this is for to identify to make our jobs a lot easier. Just recently, I've been kicked out personally myself out of Burger King in Hillcrest in Hamilton, the North Island of New Zealand. So that's under the Human Rights Commissioner at the moment. The service dogs also have been attacked in the CBD. It is getting very, very high, as you can see on my page number 6 of the list of the events. DIA said it's the council's jurisdiction and responsibility to enforce the law and to act on it as well to protect all service dogs. And it's important that the service dogs are being put in the right class, is not with domestic pet dogs. So if an OAI is being requested by government departments, they can go straight to it without being looking so hard, and that makes your job a lot easier. About the fake service dogs is done to get more and more high in New Zealand. You have quite a few of them down in your area. I hope you're aware of it. The Asian shops are selling them. So under Section 40 and 41 of the Dog Control Act, it clearly states there is not allowed because they're misleading people. On page number 6 here, on my one, is where it's getting more and more high, especially in hospitality, has now risen quite a bit. and also the public transport. So we're working hard with that with NZTA Council and also New Zealand Police, because we've had quite a few incidents with police has been removing us from shops, council buildings to public transport. So our legal rights under the Human Rights Act, and that for us is there to protect us. So you can't demonstrate with a person with a disability or wheelchairs and other medical means. The service dogs have been rushed at and attacked. Council is also around New Zealand. There are very few are putting them in the right class. So I do reports to the Minister of Disability, DIA, and so forth. So just making you well aware what we try and do, and also try to make your job a little bit more easier and more understandable about our rights as disability assist dogs, where pet dogs are not allowed to go. It clearly states under Section 2A of the Dog Control Act and 75. So in there, it's got nowhere saying that domestic pet dogs are allowed to go in. And other councils in New Zealand are trying to override that act, and legally they can't because it's a government document. Thank you very much for your time and for your listening.
Any questions from the committee? From Roger? Roger, I just have a question here. You just stated in your evidence there about service dogs being attacked within the CBD. Are you aware of any of those attacks within the Masterton CBD?
Not in Masterton, not what I know of so far. I did an OIA request from your council. They came back with 0, so that was great. Auckland, Wellington, Waikato region, Christchurch, and all that has had dog attacks. People with assistance dogs going into shops where are getting physically assaulted, or the service dogs are getting kicked. So that's assault on service dogs. So that's 2 counts of assault, because it comes also because we're under the Government Act. And that's where the council staff and other organisations like yourself, Civil Defence, needs to understand that side, what's actually happening in our area in New Zealand, and we're trying to make it so better so you can have more understanding and helping others.
Thank you very much for your answer to that question, Roger. Just the committee will meet again on the 30th of April to deliberate, and we'll make recommendations on both the proposed dog control bylaw and dog policy, and the proposed dangerous, affected and insanitary buildings policy for council to consider on the 14th of May. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tim, and for your time, and good luck on your submission and down there, and I hope the weather is beautiful down there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
I now call on our next submitter, Carolyn Press-McKenzie, who is appearing for Helping You Help Animals on Teams. Carolyn there?
Disappeared.
He's frozen. He's very good at keeping still. Just a small technical glitch. Carolyn? Carolyn, is that you? Can you hear me? Can't hear me?
I'm
I'm not Carolyn. She says she's in the waiting room, but she's the only one there. I'll just forward her this link again.
Thank you. Roger, your camera's still on. I don't know if you still want us to be seeing what you're up to, yeah? Yeah, you can stay listening, but you possibly just turn your camera off. Caroline.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
No.
Being technically challenged.
No worries. No. I'll just start again. I'll just call on our next submitter, Carolyn Press-McKenzie from Helping You Help Animals. Welcome, Carolyn.
Hi, thank you for having me, and also Bronwyn Green is here for hoo-ha as well today.
So councillors have read your written submission and have a copy of it in front of them. You're to speak in support of your submission. It is an opportunity to expand on your submission and focus on key points. You have been allocated 10 minutes, and this includes time for questions, 7 minutes to present your submission, then 3 minutes for questions from elected members. A bell will be rung at 6 minutes, just to remind you. Okay? And just a reminder, the meeting is being live streamed and recorded. So, up to you whenever you want to start. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for having us today, and also for your consideration on such an important topic. I know that you've read our submission and it's quite lengthy. Just going over the key points. So we're an animal charity. We're New Zealand's leading independent animal welfare charity. We don't get government funding. We just basically get donations through community to support our work. I think probably what we've noticed over the years, we're 25 years old now, and over the years we've noticed a huge escalation in the amount of unwanted animals in the community. Today we're specifically talking to dogs and puppies, and that is definitely something that we see a lot. One thing that I've noticed leading an organisation like this, we have a lot of respect across the country, and I get phone calls from other charities who are in situations where their members are looking at committing suicide because they're so overwhelmed. There are so many animals for them to take in. They don't have the room, they don't have the resources, and they're at a point of collapse emotionally as well as physically and practically. So although, like a dog bylaw and policy review may not seem like such a biggie on your agenda, for us, we see it as being incredibly crucial. Things have got to a point where they're just untenable. We are kind of pedaling along, trying our best. Your ACOs, I can't imagine what they go through every day. They do incredible work. But also the harm and the nuisance to the community itself as well. And also the costs incurred to everyone along the way. So I actually wanted to open up to questions from you and see if I could speak to any of the points we've made. What I wanted to say is this is actually huge. it's a big deal. The inappropriate breeding is coming from several sectors of the community. We often see that the law itself isn't able to intervene. There's no enforceable sort of aspects. So what we're hoping is that if it's taken seriously at local government level, this could be an opportunity to perhaps start putting protectors in place so that we can start looking at cleaning up the community, because it is a mess and it's very, very serious, and we personally see that. Over the weekend I was on call, so we run a 24-hour on-call service as well. We're the only animal welfare agency, I believe, who does that. I know that the council do great things though with picking animals up after hours. But I got 2 calls from Masterton over the weekend, and one was a child that was bitten in the face. The people had just been passed a young dog that was probably passed over inappropriately, bitten the child in the face, just missed his eye. And then the other one was someone who spotted a hoarding situation that's out of control, and a lot of mental health issues involved. So it is happening in your community. It is concerning, and we really would love to help in any way we can, but getting the conversation going obviously is very important. Does anyone have any questions around our submission?
I will just ask, and Joe, you have a question?
Kia ora, Carolyn and Bronwyn. Thank you for your submission. I've just got a couple of questions. My first question is kind of like double barrel. Do you work closely with the SPCA and the council towns in your mahi?
Yeah, we do, and also in your area as well. So we have a great relationship with both. So we actually all come together sometimes and do training days as well, especially with climate change and the need for all the emergency responses. We're starting to all come together and train together. I've been around in the industry for 39 years and have personal relationships with a lot of the animal control officers, the seniors, as well as the SPCA. I was on the board of the Wellington SPCA for 3 years prior to sort of getting a bit busy with hoo-ha. So yeah, the relationship rivers run deep, and we respect and care for everyone in the industry. We're seeing everyone struggling because I think, you know, these fundamental bricks or foundations aren't put in place.
My second question is, as a voluntary organisation, do you get involved in prosecutions of dog owners that are flouting the law or the rule?
So we do run heavily on volunteers, but we also employ 20 staff. So we've grown quite a bit over the last few years, and we're building this new shelter at the moment on the Haywoods, which will cover New Zealand, but obviously work well with Masterton as well. We do get involved. We come at it from a different way. We don't have any legal powers. So we work by identifying a situation, passing it through to the authorities like the ACOs or SPCA, and then often we're called in as witnesses. So you at the moment have a very notorious animal hoarder, breeder, neglector in your actual area right now, and I think I'm in court in November. Speaking against her, and she's actually moved in with another person who's caused your council quite a bit of problems. So the two of them are actually sort of linked in together and still trying to acquire dogs from the neighbourhood and cause problems. But yeah, so we get involved. We're very helpful, I think, because we can come at it from a different way. Sometimes we sort of say with SPCA, we're good cop or they bad cop. And that can really be helpful too.
Thank you.
Dave, you have a question?
Thank you, Caroline. You made some rather scathing remarks about the rural area. I just wonder,
Sure.
Do you have a lot to do with lifestyle? Is the problem mainly with lifestyle people or the genuine farmers, as you picked up?
Sure. There's a mix, and I mean, obviously there are incredibly professional farmers out there doing an amazing job. So it's not about the profession, It's about, I think what it is that when you go into the rural communities, and you're right, lifestylers are a huge part of this, people seem to start acquiring animals, and then they don't have the same accountability that perhaps urban areas have, and things start spiraling out of control. So you've got people who accidentally get themselves in a pickle, and not just with dogs. You see it with, we've been to Masterton recently and taken 30 miniature ponies who are in a pickle on a hill. So it's not actually just dogs, but dogs is a huge problem within rural communities. We notice in the farming aspect of it, and particularly again also with pig hunters, is that there seems to be a situation where the dogs will just breed and breed and breed and breed because they prefer not to have them desexed, and it's very hard to sort of keep them separate and accidents do happen. And quite often they're seeking for that dog that they want to raise the puppy that's going to be the perfect puppy for that role. So there's a lot of surplus animals that then need to be sort of moved along, and we do get a lot of people who we get farm dogs and pig dogs that are dumped. We get threats of, if we don't take them, they're going to bang them on the head or drown them. It happens every year, every season. We get a lot. So there definitely are. I think, as I said in the submission, there's different areas. You've got the hoarders, you've got the breeders who are purposefully hidden away. You've got farming situations where there is such a surplus of dogs and then they're passed on. The dog I told you about at the weekend that I had a call from that had bitten the child in the face, that was a farm dog puppy that had just reached, I think, 16 months old, wasn't good on the farm, was passed to a family who were ill-equipped, and the puppies damaged that child. So, yeah, and then pig hunters. We see a lot of dogs that are inappropriately chained in backyards, and they have prey drive, and they have these sort of edgy behaviours. A lot of those are coming from these situations.
Thank you.
Carolyn, Bronwyn, thank you for your presentation. The committee will meet again on the 30th of April to deliberate, and will make recommendations on both the proposed dog control bylaw, dog policy, and the proposed dangerous, affected and sanitary buildings policy for Council to consider at its meeting on the 14th of May. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. I will now call on our next submitter, Darren McGregor, who is appearing for New Zealand Post. Thank you. Welcome, Darren. So, Darren, councillors will have read your written submission and will have a copy in front of them. You're here to speak on your support of your submission, and it's an opportunity to expand on your submission and focus on key points.
Thank you.
You've got 10 minutes. This will include some question time, 7 minutes to present your submission, 3 minutes for questions, and a bill will be rung at 6 minutes, so we're in your hands.
Thank you. Right. Good morning, Mr Mayor, councillors, ladies, gentlemen and others. My name is Darren McGregor. I am a Service Delivery Coordinator for New Zealand Post based in Masterton. I am speaking to my submission to the Masterton District Council Dog Policy and Control of Dogs Bylaw Review. New Zealand Post is asking that the currently optional condition, keep your dog securely on your property with access to at least one door of the dwelling without encountering the dog, which is one of the criteria to be a responsible owner, be made mandatory. My purpose today is to give some practical examples of the dog issues that face our employees and contractors that have led us to make this submission. Since the last Dog Policy and Control of Dogs Bylaw Review, the Masterton branch of New Zealand Post has recorded 31 serious dog incidents in Masterton that have affected its employees and contractors. Please note that this total is not all dog incidents, as we are aware that there are many less serious dog incidents that our people have not reported, such as wandering dogs is probably the biggest one. The problem that we are asking for your help with is when our people, including contractors, have to enter a property to deliver to the door. Delivery of parcels to the door is the strong expectation of most customers, and due to this and reasons of security, our service standard for our delivery people is delivery to the door. Delivery of parcels and food to customers' doors by New Zealand Post and other providers has grown significantly in the last few years, and we expect it to continue to grow. One aspect of this growth is the delivery of perishable items. These items are time sensitive and cannot usually be carded for collection elsewhere. This ever-increasing demand for deliveries brings delivery people into contact with a serious problem: dogs. When customers have a dog or dogs running loose on their property and there is no safe access to a door without encountering a dog, that puts delivery people's safety at risk. When our delivery people see a closed gate on a property, they will usually take steps to check if there is a dog. Typically, before they enter the property, they will toot the horn and rattle the gate to see if a dog appears. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, and delivery people enter a property and find themselves confronted by one or more dogs. Some dogs can be face down, and sometimes our people can get off the property before the dog gets to them. However, there are times they can't and end up getting injured. I should note that our delivery people, including myself, have been injured in the process of trying to escape, so it doesn't even have to be the dog get to them. It is my personal belief that it is only luck that has prevented our local delivery people from suffering serious life-changing injuries due to dogs. Elsewhere in the country, New Zealand Post delivery people have not been so lucky. I was going to show some pictures, but I've been told they're a bit gruesome, so we'll leave it at that. So in conclusion, we are asking you as a council to make safe access to at least one door of a house without encountering a dog be mandatory rather than optional, to be one of the basic standards of dog policy in this area. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Rob?
Yeah.
Thank you for the submission, Darren. You talked about 31 incidents.
Yes.
Were they in the Wairarapa?
That's just in Masterton. There's further incidents in the Wairarapa as a whole.
And the nature of those incidents?
So the 31 incidents are a mixture. So some of them are people on a property being attacked. People get injured trying to get away. People sometimes report a near miss where they've been very lucky. And there's also incidents which involve dogs jumping gates or fences and attacking our people on the street. There's people being chased along the street. And that's the sort of range of incidents.
And it's mandatory for you guys to actually deliver to the door?
Basically, unless there is a safety issue where we will allow our people sometimes, if the customer agrees that they can deliver to the letterbox. But generally, no, the standard is to the door, and part of that is around the security issue, that it's more secure for the customer's parcels for them to be left at the house, especially if we can leave them at a back door of a house.
And the open door policy, that's a safety valve for you guys to get through?
Oh yeah, that would enable us, in theory, to get from the gate of a property to get to a door of a house and deliver without running into a dog. So that would usually be, say, people have got their dogs fenced off in the back of a section.
Darren, thanks for your submission. Darren, is there any particular breed of dog that creates more of a problem for the post service than
Yes, it's like your bulldogs and your staffies and mastiffs, those type of breeds. Yeah.
And do you find that in your rounds that there's any, without naming them, but any particular areas of town that are worse than others?
Well, the low socio-economic areas tend to be worse for dogs not being restrained on the property, so therefore they're able to run off the property and attack people or chase them. That'll be the main one. But I mean, we have had people attacked by a dog that belonged to multi-millionaires, so it does cut across all social groups, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Darren, do you keep an inventory of the numbers on those places that are a problem?
Yes, we keep a hazard register of those properties. Yeah.
And of course, if they wanted to, they could put because it's going to get worse because there's more people buying online.
Yes.
Now, they could have to put a box at their gate or something, won't they?
Generally, if we can't deliver because we've got a known problem, we usually card the parcel to be collected from a post shop.
Okay.
Except that's where the perishables create a problem, because we, in theory, can't card those to a post shop because they can't just sit there. They've got to do something with them on the day.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Darren, thank you very much for your submission. The committee will meet again on the 30th of April to deliberate, and will make recommendations on both the proposed dog control bylaw, dog policy, and the proposed dangerous, affected and unsanitary buildings policy for council to consider on the meeting 20th of May. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Committee members, we'll now turn to recommendations in the report. recommendation in the officer's report is that the Hearings Committee receives the full set of submissions on the dangerous, affected and unsanitary buildings policy, control of dogs bylaw, and the dog policy as part of the consultation. Attachments 4 and 5. 2. Notes that 15 submissions were received on the dangerous, affected and unsanitary buildings policy. 3. Notes that 135 submissions were received on the control of dogs bylaw and dog policy. 4. Notes that 4 submitters. Yep. Just note that. 4 again. Notes that 4 submitters are confirmed to be heard at the control of dogs bylaw and dog policy. And 5. Notes that deliberations will take place on the 30th of April 2025. I will now move the motion, being the recommendations in the officer's report. Is there a seconder? David, thank you. The motion is now open for debate. There's no debate. No need for a right reply. I now put the motion, which has been moved and seconded. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? The motion is carried. Thank you. We'll now do a closing karakia. Kia mutu
O mātou mahi mō te wā, manakitia mai mātou katoa, o mātou oa, o mātou whānau. Ai o ki te ao.
I now call the meeting closed.